Week 4, Day 6, Morning Nourishment, Revelation 22:17. And the Spirit and the bride say, Come, and let him who hears say, Come. 7:17. For the Lamb who is in the midst of the throne will shepherd them and guide them to springs of waters of life. Revelation 22:17a reveals that the Spirit, as the totality of the processed triune God, has become one with the believers, who are now fully matured to be the bride. Hence, the Spirit is the ultimate expression of the processed triune God, and the bride is the ultimate expression of the transformed tripartite man. By the time of Revelation 22:17, the processed triune God, the Spirit, and the transformed tripartite man, the bride, will be one and speak as one. The consummation of the divine dispensing of the processed triune God will be a universal marriage. The Spirit, as the consummation of the processed triune God, dispensed into his redeemed people, will be the bridegroom, and God's redeemed people, as the consummation of the redeemed, regenerated, and transformed humanity, will be the bride. In Revelation 22:17, the Spirit and the bride together as a couple say, Come. This is the consummation of what John the Baptist told his disciples in John 3:29, He who has the bride is the bridegroom. The end of the New Testament eventually reveals to us that the one who has the bride is the Spirit. Today's reading. The Spirit becomes one with the bride, the aggregate of all the regenerated and transformed tripartite man. This means that the triune God, after being consummated as the Spirit, will marry the believers as the bride. In Revelation 22:17, there are two consummations. First, the triune God has gone through a process, through incarnation, human living, crucifixion, resurrection, and ascension, to become the Spirit, the totality, the consummation of the triune God, to be the bridegroom. Second, the believers also have gone through a process, redemption, regeneration, and transformation, to become the consummation of God's chosen, redeemed, regenerated, and transformed people, to be the bride. Therefore, the processed tripartite man will match the processed triune God forever for his full expression and satisfaction. This couple is the ultimate consummation of the divine romance revealed in the Bible. According to the entire Bible, there is a divine romance between God the Creator, the Redeemer, who is the male, and his redeemed people, who are the female. When the Lord Jesus came, John the Baptist told his disciples that Christ was the bridegroom coming to take the bride, which is the church. In Ephesians 5, Paul tells us that the church is typified by the wife and Christ by the husband. Paul also tells us that he has betrothed us as a virgin to one husband, who is Christ. This wife is the aggregate of all the overcoming saints from Abel until the Lord comes back. Finally, the New Jerusalem will be the consummation of God's counterpart, the aggregate of all his redeemed and perfected people. The Bible begins with the marriage of Adam and Eve in Genesis and ends with the marriage of the Spirit and God's redeemed people in Revelation. This final marriage is the marriage of the processed, consummated, and dispensed triune God as the husband with his regenerated and transformed people as the bride. For eternity, this universal couple will be the full manifestation of the triune God expressed in all his glory. At the conclusion of the Bible is the Spirit, the consummation of the processed triune God, with the bride as the aggregate and consummation of the redeemed, regenerated, transformed, and glorified tripartite man. Here is an eternal, universal couple expressing the triune God for eternity.